Hello, welcome to part 3 of our MiniArt M3 Lee tank build, and this is where we left off in part 2. What we're looking at here are parts from step 10 and 11, which I'm going to clean up and put on, but also step 12 is also part of this wall here, which has some more parts as well, but they go on after these do. Okay, and basically these whole 3 steps are putting parts on this wall here, and then I think even step 13 looks like it's a few bits going on there as well before we move on to a completely separate piece. So thank you for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that join button if you want to help contribute to the channel. You can become a member for only about $5 a month, and it's a great help towards the channel. We're getting quite a few members built up now. It's really good. Don't forget, comments are welcome below. If you've got any comments as you go along, any tips for me in the process of building this, and give us a thumbs up if you enjoy the video. So let's get on with this. And another thing about these is there's some parts here that need to be painted. Not everything is white, which is what I'm putting in here at the moment. Everything in here is going to be painted white. In the last part, we've got this section here, which is just sitting there. It's not put in because we've got some shells that need to be painted. So we can take that piece out, work on it, and put it back in afterwards. Here we've got some more shell casings here, which are going to go on the wall, but they'll need to be painted up as well, separately. And then we've got these parts here, which are all going to be white, which is no problem. There's tiny little parts like you see here, which is a little cap that's going to sit on there. Sorry, there we go. Little cap that's going to sit in there. So I guess that's for water. Again, there's more parts over here, tiny little bits to go on and to be cleaned up. And I think this part here actually wants us to paint it silver on the inside of there. But we'll see how we go, because a lot of this interior tank area is going to be done over with a panel wash to bring out the detail after it's painted. And little areas that are inside there will probably be darkened up with the panel wash anyway. But we'll see how we go. Yeah. So let me keep going, and I'll come back with a bit more progress as we get these parts prepped up and on. Yeah, that's it there. So we'll just touch a bit of glue in there. Like I say, this stuff just wicks around. It's just the slightest bit. All right, and just remember, there's not going to be crew walking around here bumping everything as they go. This stuff's never going to get touched. It'll be inside. Most of it probably won't even be able to be seen. I'll have to wait and see about that. But yeah. But this piece will go on now, and again, another locating pin is there, so you can see where it's going to go. It's going to go right there like that. Okay, so that's where it's going to sit. And we've already added, there was a tiny little piece that went on there as well, so that's already put on. So let's get this in place. Make sure that location is spot on. There it is. Just a touch there. Hold it for a few seconds. And that should be the end of step 10 and 11. Got to be careful not to knock this off. Yeah, I mean, I could take this whole piece out really while I'm doing this, but it's okay. So I'm just going to put a little bit more down here. That's it. That's fine. Okay. So there's all those parts on that wall there. And that is all of that step. Now for this, I'm going to put this aside because I think we might have something else that needs painting up a little bit later. Although I suppose we could do this. I'm on a roll here, so I'm going to keep working on this back wall. So we're going to go to step 12, and I'll show you what I mean by the pieces. Let me just get this out of the way. I'll be back in a second. We'll look at the instructions. Okay, so that is on, that's on, that's on, that is not. We've got that done, we've got those done, and that's on. So this part here is the one that we need to paint. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors to get onto that. But if we go back, we've also got to do the shells under that housing here as well. This part here needs to be painted, so we might as well do that at the same time, as well as under there, which is the part that we've left unglued in there that we can just take out. But we'll come back to that and we'll move on to step 12 here. Okay, so let me get that in view without too much glare if I can. Proving to be difficult. Let me just adjust the focus a little bit here. That's better. All right. So we've got a bit of pipe work to go around, to go on. There's 2 bits of pipe. And there's another piece there we've got to make up. That looks like some sort of a jerry can set up there. And again, we need some color on that. But at least we can get that glued together. And there's a box down here, which goes up on the wall there. And that will be step 12. And we'll get to this when we get here, but there's an open and closed option of something here. That looks like that little hatchway in the top of the wall there. So we'll get to that and we'll decide which way we're going to have that. I'd like to have as much open as possible just to be able to see more detail. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll get some more parts off the sprue and then we'll come back when we're putting them on. We're back again in a sec. Okay, so these parts are really tiny and you've got to be very careful cleaning them up. Make sure you've got a nice, fresh, clean blade in here if you're going to use that, because yeah, you don't want to put any amount of pressure on this that you don't need to. So these two are both going on top of this box. One connects onto the side of this here and goes to the top, and the other one goes from there and into the wall where there's a hole, which is this one. And then we've got the box, which is easy, that'll go on. But these ones are going to take a little bit of work. We should be able to line them up and get them in there. I'm just looking at the way that goes. It's pretty much just going to go like that. Yeah, it should be fine. So I say, all right, I'll get on with this, and then we'll get the other piece that needs painting with these off the sprue and ready to go as well. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, so that that little hatchway, I've decided to have that closed, right? But on the outside there's LA3, which is a clear piece that goes on there. So obviously I'll leave that until everything's painted and that'll go on last. But yeah, I can't put that on now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and prime all these pieces up that I need to be painting, including all of this. I'm going to prime that up as well, and then I'm going to do it all white And then I'm going to do all these, which are all the shell casings in there, and on that's in there as well, which are going to be gold colored, I think. So I'm going to get all that in undercoated, and then and I think maybe we're pretty close to being able to paint all of this, but we'll just hold off on that for the moment. I just want to get all these parts done. I'll also do the back of the seat there as well and get all that done. Okay, so time to get the airbrush out and get some paint on there. Be back in a sec. Okay, so there's our white done on the seat on this fuel can, I think it is, I'm not sure. It's a jerry can of some sort that's done in the olive drab along with the top for it. There's the whole center section done in white. All I gotta do is just go on there and do all the detail for the shell casings. And then here we've got the support for the container done in white. And there's some of the shells which need to be done in, well, there's parts of these are white and then steel and then gold and olive drab as well, actually. So it's going to be a tricky bit to do. Very fine paint work needed on that. Okay, so there we go. More progress. I'll wait for this to dry, and then I can get into painting some of this up, including the belts around the jerry can, which have to be done. All right, back again shortly. Okay, welcome back. So I've got all these painted, as you can see. There's all our shells. I've done one side because the other side's going against the wall, so there's no point. But they've come up really nice. Just gonna let them dry properly, and then I've done the gold on these ones in here, all in place. And there's the silver or steel for the ends where they come out. So that's done, and then there's our little jerry can that's going to go inside. That's all done too. So what I'll do now is I'll put all these aside into our little container here with our seat and the support for that jerry can. These will just pop into there, and we can move on to step, where are we? 13, I think it is. No, 13 we've done. Yeah, that was the hatch that I decided to have closed. But it has a clear part which still goes on it, but I'll have to put that on later. Yeah, I don't want to forget that, so we'll see. I might put the clear part in here if I can do that safely. And so then we'll move on to another part of step 13, because there's quite a bit, and that's the side panel of the interior there. All right, I shall return. Okay, so the parts for step 14 are these sides of the hull, which really nice detail you can see there. They're the insides. There's the outside where the wheels and the tracks will go. Mounted onto, I guess, yeah. But we need to do one of them first, which seems to have a bit more detail on it than the other side. As you'll see here, we've got a gun, we've got a couple other pieces there, like a couple of fire extinguishers going on there. Not sure what that is. Looks like a toilet, doesn't it? But all these parts, so I'll get these parts off and we'll get them ready to see what needs to be painted, what color and everything. Obviously these might have to be done separately, and I don't know whether we would attach this to the hull that we've been working on, both sides, then paint, or paint this separately. We'll have to have a look into doing how we're going to do that. So, all right. Okay, so we've got all the parts off for this side. In there are the gun. Well, I've actually taken both guns off, so that'll be for the other side panel. Well, we've got those fire extinguishers, the other pieces, the little clock, that piece there, a tiny bit there is a clock. So some of these parts we'll be able to put on because they're going to be white. but some of them are not, like the guns and this part here and the extinguishers. They need to be painted separately and added to our little collection of to be added later parts. So I will start getting these primed up, and I'll put on the bits that can go on, and then what I'll do is I'll move on to step 14, which is the other side of this, and we'll put those, not as many parts to go on that, but we can get those parts set up, and then have a look at deciding whether I want to paint this up before I attach it to this, our main section, all right, or whether we're going to paint it separately. All right, so we may be able to get this running, like that's going to go on there. All right, so to give you an idea, somehow, yeah, that's going to go in there like that. So it is quite possible I could spray that when it's all on, or we'll do it separately. Don't know. All right, let me think about that. In the meantime, we'll put that away, and I'll get these primed up and put on where I can. All right, I'm back in a sec. Okay, so all those other parts I've just primed with Mr. Surfacer, and a lot of them will have to be hand painted. The gun and the other parts are all just got enough to be touched up with a brush. In the meantime, I'm going to take these two parts here off, which is parts from step 18, and they will go on the side of these. So if that's like that, then this will go that way, and these are like above the tracks, if you can imagine the tracks running underneath these. So these will come off like that. All right, so yeah, I'm getting those off because I need to work out how I'm going to prime and paint the white on all of those parts in there. But yeah, I'll get these off, cleaned up, and then we'll come back to doing those other small parts and hand brushing the colors we needed on those. I've already got the flat brown that we're going to need, which will be on part of the gun. There's some olive drab again needed. I think there was silver as well, and black, I think. Anyway, we'll get there. All right, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, welcome back everybody. So I've got a bit done. I've got all these parts all painted up. There's our two fire extinguishers done. There we go. And we got these two little bits here that sit on either side of this seat here, so they're painted up. We've got that goes on the wall. I think that's finished. In fact, I might even still have to do a little bit of chrome in the center of that. These parts are done. This is ready, and the two guns, which I only need one of, but I checked I will need the second one. That's done, ready to go on the wall, and that's it. So what I've decided to do was these side pieces here that we put together with a few things on it, and there's a few of these to go on. I'm going to paint these. I'm going to undercoat these and then do them the white, and I'm going to do the same for this whole interior here. Okay, and these parts we'll leave them till a bit later. All right, they're the top of the where the tracks run underneath and the wheels. Okay, so they're going to be done separate, but these, yeah, so I'm going to paint them all white and separately while they're off, and then attach them, and then we can put all these in, and that's mostly the interior done. Now, one thing I did check ahead and looked at this back compartment here, which is where the engine's going to be. Right, so what I found was that there's two panels that sit in each corner here and divide off that area that I'm going to put in now, and they're ahead in step 25 after the engine's built, but they're a major part of this, and all this needs to be done the same interior white as that. So I'm going to put those two pieces in and then spray them white with everything else that's in there, because the next step afterwards, when we finish attaching these and then doing these, we'll be putting the engine together and then working on that back compartment. All right, so yeah, that's the plan anyway. We'll give that a shot. So right now I need to get these 2 parts here, 3 parts here, all in a primer, grey primer. Okay, Mr. Surfacer. All right, now I'm going to do that and then we'll see that in the next video, because I'm going to be waiting for parts to dry before I can paint it white, and there's not much more I can do. So we'll come back and that'll be in the next video. Okay, so part 4 will see us, you'll see these primed, you'll see that done all white and how I get all that looking good, hopefully in white, and then we'll attach these and we'll put all that interior stuff in, all in the next video, and we'll probably also be making a start on doing the engine as well. All right, thanks everybody. Don't forget to put a comment down below, give us a thumbs up for the video, and I'll see you in the next part 4 of the M3 Lee MiniArt tank. All right, cheers all, bye for now.